Yo, 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 what's going on, guys? Joey Juggermuck is back here with another video for you guys. Guys, it is Saturday night, and I'm going to be giving you my game picks for week 11 now of the 2021 NFL season. So let's jump right on into it, guys. Coming up with the first game, we have the 5-4 Saints at the 4-6 Eagles. So the Saints, very, very back and forth. They seem to be kind of in a skid right now. They were off to a great start. They seem to be cool. They seem to be on a little bit of a cold streak. Meanwhile, the Eagles have actually been overperforming. I mean, 4-6, that's not great at all. But they did just go into Denver and beat the Broncos. And, I think a lot of people, including myself, were expecting them to be like the worst team in the league. 4-6, I mean, they're hanging on by a thread. The NFC East is much better this year. I mean, I guess it's not that much better, but of course the Cowboys are definitely leading the charge in the division. The football team sucks, and then the Giants suck. But I don't think that they're going to be able to get in at like 8-9 or 9-8 this year. But yeah, they're doing a lot better than I expected. I think the Saints are going to win this game, though. They're kind of desperate for a win. Still don't think the Eagles are that good. I'm not a big believer in Jalen Hurts. I'm going to go with the Saints here, guys. 27-17. Next game, guys, we have the 3-7 Dolphins at the 2-7 Jets. So the Dolphins coming off that Thursday night win against the Ravens. We don't need to talk about that. So they're riding a little 2-game winning streak after a 7-game losing streak. The Jets. So biggest headline, Joe Flacco. Remember that guy? He is going to start for the Jets. So that means the Jets are automatically going to win, right? So the Jets, they suck. But it is interesting because their 2 wins have been against like good teams, and they've been big wins. The Titans and the Bengals. The Bengals are a little bit questionable, but it was still a win against a legitimate team. It's weird. Their 2 wins have actually like meant a lot, but they have also lost 7 games. So the Jets suck. But I mean, with Flacco, man, the Flacco massacre, as I like to call it. We'll see how he does. But I think the Dolphins are going to win this game. I think that they have a lot of confidence right now. And maybe they're starting to find their groove because they have been such a big disappointment this year. I mean, and a lot of people, including myself, I thought they were going to be like a real playoff contender. They have been utter garbage since week 1. But they have now won 2 in a row. They did just beat the Ravens. Their defense has played a lot better the past couple weeks. So, I don't know. Maybe the Dolphins are starting to turn the corner. It's in New York, but I still think the Dolphins are going to get this win. They're desperate to keep going. They're hot right now. I'm going to go with the Dolphins here, guys. 31-17, but hey, go Flacco and the Jets. Next game, guys, we have the 3-6 football team at the 5-5 Panthers. So another big headline going into this game. Cam Newton, he appeared in last week's game, and he did not start. He is now going to start for the Panthers tomorrow. Can you believe that? The classic reunion in Carolina. Wow. So, talking about the team as a whole, the Panthers coming off that big upset win over the Cardinals. Yes, the Cardinals were without Hopkins, Murray, and I think some other guys too. But hey, a win is a win. Football team. So, I mean, they did just beat the Bucs. So, props to them. That was like an upset win. And their defense finally played well. It has been such a disappointment this year. It played very well against the Bucs last week, and they got the win. And then the question is, so I haven't been following, but I know Chase Young got hurt last week, and they were afraid he tore his ACL. I did not see a follow-up tweet to confirm it, but it's my understanding that he's not playing this game. I don't know if his injury is serious or not. Forgive me for not knowing. But regardless, Chase Young is out. That's a loss. As overrated as I think he is, he's still there, and he's still a loss. And the football team, I don't know. This is going to be an interesting game because the Panthers have been back and forth this year, but they are coming off probably their best game of the season. Cam Newton returning. I mean, I know he's not good, but is he an upgrade over Darnold? I don't know. I think both kind of suck, but who knows? Maybe Newton will go back to his 2014, 2015 self. I don't know, but probably not that. It's in Carolina, though. Again, the Panthers are coming off a really good game. I'm going to go with the Panthers here, guys. Let's go with Carolina, 27-24. Newton gets a win in his quote-unquote debut as a starter. Next game, guys, we have the 5-5 Colts at the 6-3 Bills. This is a wild card rematch from last year in the same place, too. So the Colts are starting to come alive a little bit. They're now up to 5-5. Bills are, I mean, they did just get a nice renaissance win after that horrible loss to the Jaguars. They looked better last week. I forget who they played, but I know that they had a nice bounce back win. Allen played well. And their defense is doing well too for the most part. They're playing like a really good defense. And I will repeat, guys, don't sleep on the Bills defense. I know it had such a rough year last year, but when healthy, it's a good defense, and it's been showing that this year for the most part. They've had their rough games, but in general, their defense has been very good. And their offense has also been good. It's had its really rough games also, but it's still been good enough. And they're 6-3, so that's pretty good. Colts, meanwhile. So yeah, they're 5-5 now. I forget who they played last week, but they are starting to come alive. But I think they're going to lose this one. The Bills, they're at home, and the Colts defense is clearly not as good as it used to be. I'm going to go with the Bills here, guys. They still want to keep cranking after that horrible loss to the Jaguars. I'm going to go with Buffalo here, 34-20. Next game, guys, we have the 0-8-1 Lions at the 5-5 Browns. So the Lions coming off that wild tie to the Steelers last week. Browns, big time disappointment so far this year. They just got absolutely shellacked by the Patriots. I was watching that game because, of course, the Ravens weren't playing. Browns, that first drive, they looked great. They were running the ball down the field. Their offensive line was dominating. Mayfield on fourth down, there was a beautiful pass, 7-0 Browns. And then they just, I don't even know what happened, man. The Patriots just destroyed them after that. It was, 45-7 was the final, I think? That was just an absolute massacre. So the Browns are disappointing. And at some point, you wonder what they're going to do with Mayfield. And I'm guilty of this. I was really high on Mayfield. I really thought he had found his groove last year and he was going to become a solid quarterback. He's been just utter garbage this year. He can't stay consistent. He misses a lot of throws. He makes just some boneheaded decisions. I was watching him play last week, and, he's throwing it into double coverage. Man, what are you doing? So the Browns, I think Chubb is back. He missed last week because of COVID, but it wasn't injury related. So unless he got hurt this week in practice, I think Chubb is back. Hunt, I think, is still out with that calf injury. And then their defense, which actually had been better the past few weeks, it was starting to come alive. Then they just went. I don't even know what happened to them. Their defense played horribly last week. So Browns have been very up and down, but in general, they've definitely been a disappointment. I mean, they were favored to win the division. I thought they were going to be like a 12-5, 13-4 team. Nowhere near there. And at some point, they might get it together. They have a bye week. Not next week, because next week they're playing the Ravens, and then the week after that they have a bye. But these are two games that they got to win if they want to keep their playoff hopes alive. But obviously the next game, at both games, I hope they don't win as a Ravens fan. But the Browns, I mean, there's no way they possibly, I don't know though, because the Browns have not been playing well this year, and the Lions just tied to the Steelers, and the Steelers beat the Browns. So I want to say the Browns are going to clap them, but I'm not so sure they will, honestly. I'm going to go with the Browns. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think the Lions are a bit better than their record indicates. They have had a fair amount of close games this year. But I'm going to go with the Browns here, guys. Let's go with Cleveland, 24-20. I think it's going to kind of be a low-scoring, sloppy game, but the Browns will pull it out. Next game, guys, we have the 4-5 Niners at the 2-7 Jaguars. So the Niners, hello, coming off a surprising domination win over the Rams last week. Jaguars suck. I mean, they did have that nice win against the Bills, but it's not their year this year. Injuries, Trevor Lawrence hasn't been great as a rookie. I'm sure he'll improve, but he's simply not going to be the guy this year. It's in Jacksonville, but the Niners, I think, are going to be feeling great after that win against the Rams. I think they're going to take this one 34-10. I don't think it's going to be close. So 34-10 Niners. Next game, guys, we have the 1-8 Texans at the 8-2 Titans. This should not be close. The Texans looked actually A-okay in their first couple games. Now they're stuck now, right back to where we expected them. Titans are rolling right now, man. They got everything going for them. I mean, hey, no Derrick Henry, but they're still getting the job done. They are still getting the job done. Did not play great last week, though, now that I think about it. I think it's coming back to me. They played the Saints last week. What was it, 23-21? A good game. It wasn't their best. But regardless, the Titans, 8-2. I think they're the top seed in the AFC right now. It's in Tennessee, and again, they don't have Henry, and I think Julio Jones is still out with whoever knows what injury he has, but I think the Titans put him on IR. But even though they don't have Jones and they don't have Henry, you still got that Tannehill to Brown connection, which works really well. So I'm going to go with the Titans here, guys. I mean, the Texans defense is a total train wreck. The Texans team is a total train wreck, especially their defense. So I'm going to go with the Titans here, guys. 41-17. Next game, guys, we have the 8-2 Packers at the 4-5 Vikings. So the Packers, who would have thought that their defense is leading the charge? Who would have thought that, right? Packers defense has been excellent. Dare I jinx anything, but it has been really, really good lately. They just shut out the Seahawks with Russell Wilson. Now, granted, it was Wilson's first game back, so I wasn't expecting him to play well. But the Packers defense, man, really, really came to play. They have been hot. They got off to a rough start, but they have really turned it on lately. Now, I will say, it's always had its consistency issues. Like, it's been good for times, then it kind of chokes. I mean, of course, last year against the Bucs, it totally choked. But it had its good moments last year, too. But I think this year, especially, it's been really, really dominant. Vikings, meanwhile, 4-5, they are a competitive team, though. They play teams tough. Ravens, they gave the Ravens their stiffs. It's in Minnesota, and I think the Vikings a lot of times have a habit of giving the Packers a hard time. And Rodgers, man, the offense, again, the defense has been excellent. The offense has not been as good. They only scored 17 points last week. Rodgers looks iffy. The connection just seems kind of off. Their line, of course, when healthy, it's good, but it just can't stay healthy. I think Bakhtiari, I don't think he's playing tomorrow, but he's working his way back after that torn ACL or Achilles last year. I forget what it was. It's in Minnesota, but I think the Packers are going to get this win. I expect another kind of sloppy win from them, but I think they're going to get it done in Minneapolis. So I'm going to go with the Packers here. Let's go with Green Bay, 24-17. Their defense plays well again, and their offense does well enough to win. Next game, guys, here we go. 6-3 Ravens at the 3-6 Bears, but there's a lot of, we'll say, inactives for this game, and some kind of bad news for the Ravens. So we'll start with the Ravens. No Marquise Brown. He is out with a thigh injury. Apparently, it really was nagging at him all week. He missed practice, so we're going to hold him out. Fine by me. Again, the worst thing you can do is rush someone back and then have them re-aggravate, then you put them on IR, and we've had far too much of that. I mean, we rushed Boyle back, he got set back. We rushed Wolf back, he got set back. Oh, and that reminds me, because now that it's come out this week, so it's just as I feared. I had touched on this last week. I mentioned how, as much as I didn't think it was going to happen, it was definitely a possibility. It actually verified. Derek Wolf is now going to miss the rest of the year. Harbaugh never really explicitly said why, but it just sounds like his back injury just continues to get worse, and he simply can't function on it. So I don't even know how, surgeries work for that case. Can you get back surgery? I'm sure you can, and I'm sure that's what Wolf is going to do. I mean, I'm sure because he's now officially out for the year, my guess is he's going to get surgery so he can come back. I don't know. I hope he doesn't retire because he still has juice left in the tank. But, of course, prayers up for Wolf, man. It must have been a really, really frustrating year. I mean, you go down with an injury. They expect it to be day-to-day. And then, after all, it ends up knocking you out for the whole season. Imagine that. So, again, prayers up to Wolf, and I wish him a speedy recovery. And I really, really hope we bring him back next year. So, anyways. Obviously, no Wolf for tomorrow's game. And then, so no Marquise Brown. And then the biggest headline, Lamar Jackson. So not an injury, thankfully, but he has been battling an illness. Now, he missed Tuesday and Wednesday. He came back Thursday. Monday is a film study day. So Tuesday and Wednesday he missed because of the illness. He came back Thursday. He said he was feeling much better. He's set to go. And then, actually, wait. I think it might be the other way. I think he missed Wednesday and Thursday and then came back yesterday on Friday and said he's feeling great, he's good to go. And then today, which was a travel day, we went to Chicago today, he got added back to the quote-unquote injury report with an illness and is now downgraded to questionable. And we elevated Trace McSorley from the practice squad. So we're definitely preparing for Jackson to not be able to play. I'm still not going to freak out. I mean, it's a day-to-day thing, and an illness, I was telling some fans this, it really all depends on what he wakes up to tomorrow. Is he waking up feeling good? Is he waking up not feeling good? That is really what's going to be the player. There's really no way to know tonight, I don't think, unless it gets, dramatically worse. And it does seem like it has gotten worse, because yesterday he was saying when he was feeling much better, he kind of made a joke about how he's getting sick, and he's blaming it on the change of seasons. But anyways, I don't know. That is weird, and it's kind of concerning on the fact that, he's not feeling well today again, and he got added back to the report. So Lamar Jackson is questionable. That can make all of the difference. So I think Tyler Huntley is lined up to start if Jackson cannot go. We'll see. We'll find out about his status tomorrow. And then the Ravens, man, it's just the injuries. It feels like he keeps getting worse and worse. So no Marquise Brown. So Bateman and Watkins are going to be the top 2 receivers. And then other headlines for this one. Nick Boyle, man. Remember him? One of the best blocking tight ends in football. Finally coming back. I think it's set now. He's going to make his debut. He practiced all week. Didn't have any issues as far as I know. He traveled with the team. He's coming. I cannot wait to see Boyle back. I think he's a great big part of our running game. Then again, his first game back, I'm sure they're going to limit his snap. They got to let him get back with the program. But I'm so glad Boyle's back, and welcome back. Okay, so Boyle's back. That's great. We also added Ben Cleveland back to the 53-man roster. He's coming back. I don't think he's playing this game. I don't think he made the trip with the team, but he's back on the 53-man roster, and he's playing. Cannot wait for him to come back. I just really want Ben Powers out of there. He's so bad, and it still baffles me at how he still has a starting job. Anyways, so Cleveland is not back for tomorrow's game as far as I know, but he's working his way back, so that's a good sign. But then it goes downhill from there. Tavon Young's questionable. Anthony Averett's questionable. No Pernell McPhee. Not that that's a big loss. No Brandon Williams. So yeah, we're battling quite a bit of injuries. It gets longer and longer. We also released Le'Veon Bell. It was a little bit interesting. I kind of thought we were going to release Tyson Williams because we had never given him any touches. Bell, we actually had given a fair amount of touches, yet we released him. A little bit interesting of a decision there. To no Bell, it's going to be Murray, Williams, and Freeman. I think Freeman is the lead back. Murray, by the way, is questionable for this game as well. He's working his way back from that knee injury, I think it was. So we'll see what happens. Of course, it really all depends on if Lamar Jackson plays. So, and then on the Bears' standpoint, they too are not very healthy either. Allen Robinson is doubtful, so he's probably not going to play. And then Khalil Mack, he was questionable all week, but then the Bears decided to put him on season-ending IR. He's going to get foot surgery, and he is out for the rest of the year. So no Khalil Mack, no Akeem Hicks either for the Bears. So that takes out a lot of big pieces. So both teams are going into this game banged up, very banged up. I think this is going to be a kind of a sloppy game. I don't see either offense playing very well. Then again, the Bears' injuries are mainly on defense, but I still don't think either offense is going to play well. I mean, it does really depend on if Jackson is playing. But then again, if Jackson is, I'm sure he won't be 100%, right, with that logic. So we'll see how it goes, and it's hard to judge without Jackson and whether it's Jackson or Huntley because they are definitely two different quarterbacks. I mean, they actually play in a similar fashion, but let's be real. Jackson is not the same as Huntley. So it's in Chicago. Weather, as far as I know, is not going to be a big factor. I'm going to go with the Ravens here. I think with how fed up we are after that loss to the Dolphins, they've talked all week about how we've prepared for the blitz and they're not going to let it abuse us again. So I really hope that's the case. Regardless of who plays quarterback, I think the Ravens are going to squeeze out of here with a win. I don't think it's going to be pretty. I think that it will be a struggle, but I think we're going to get it done. I'm going to go with Baltimore here, guys. 23-17. Next game, guys. This should be a good game. 5-4 Bengals at the 5-4 Raiders. So both teams got off to very good starts, but they are definitely declining right now. So the Bengals are coming off a bye week. Raiders just lost last week, so they just got screwed by the Chiefs. Or I shouldn't say screwed, but they got destroyed by the Chiefs. And then the Bengals, they got off to a great start, smoked the Ravens. They were looking great. Then lost to the Jets. Then lost to the Browns. Now have a bye week. Now coming off the bye week, so maybe that gave them time to recover and get back to the old ways. Because up until the Jets game, they were playing really, really well, but they did not. They got off to a cool start going into the bye. So it was the perfect time for a bye week last week. So with that in mind, we'll see how it goes with this one. This is going to be an interesting game because, again, both teams are coals right now. And both teams, I think a lot of people are saying they're flukes and they're going to tank. For the Raiders, I think that's true. They've been through so much. John Gruden, Henry Ruggs, and their defense, actually got off to a solid start. It's been kind of trash as of late. The Raiders don't have it this year. They've been through so much, and they're just not a well-run franchise at all. Bengals, meanwhile, I think that they're gonna hang in there. I still don't think they're that good. I really don't. I think Burrow's really overrated. But I'm going to go with the Bengals here, guys. I just think that they're coming off the bye. They're going to be desperate for a win. The Raiders really don't know what to do right now. So I'm going to go with the Bengals here, guys. Let's go with Cincinnati, 27-24. I do think it'll be a good game, however. Next game, guys, we have the 8-2 Cardinals at the 3-6 Seahawks. So it sounds like it should be a blowout, but there's a catch. So Kyler Murray is a game-time decision, I heard, and then DeAndre Hopkins is out. So, once again, the Cardinals are not going into this game anywhere near full strength. Seahawks, meanwhile, Russell Wilson is back. Obviously, he played poorly last week, but it was his first game back. So hopefully, I don't know about hopefully necessarily, but from the Seahawks standpoint, they're hoping he bounces back this week and he plays better. It's in Seattle, and then again, I know the Cardinals have a lot of injuries. They're coming off a kind of big defeat to the Panthers last week. Again, they did have a lot of injuries, but a loss is still a loss. It's in Seattle. I still think the Cardinals are going to get this win, regardless of if Murray plays. Cardinals are going to be kind of ticked after losing to the Panthers last week. They're going to be desperate for this win. I'm going to go with the Cardinals here, guys. I don't think the Seahawks are that good. Their defense ain't good, and Wilson is I don't know. He's just inconsistent, and typically the later in the season it gets, the worse he gets also. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals here, guys. Let's go with Arizona, 30-23. Next game, guys, we have the 7-2 Cowboys at the 6-4 Chiefs. This should be a very, very good game. So, the Cowboys, did have that big loss to the Broncos, but they rematted well. They absolutely pummeled the Falcons last week. Yes, it was the Falcons, but they still played very, very well. That offense is locked in right now. No Amari Cooper, though, I think they placed him on the COVID list, so no Amari Cooper. That's big. Chiefs, meanwhile, I know they're off to a cool start, but they're going to get it together. I got to be careful because it was one game. But last week, it really, really gave me the 2018 through 2020 Chiefs vibes. Dominant on offense. Mahomes plays his heart out. 400 plus yards. I think 4 touchdowns he threw, and the defense plays pretty well. So maybe that was the game that gets the Chiefs right back to old ways because they were really playing like it the other night. I got to be careful because it was one game. But I don't know, man. That really got me thinking. So, I'm going to gamble here. This is a bold take, but it's in Kansas City. The Chiefs are coming off their best game of the season by a mile. I'm going to go with the Chiefs here, guys. I think that they have finally found their rhythm. I think they're going to build off of what they had last week. I think it's going to be high scoring. Although their defense has actually been better lately. Believe it or not, the past few games, the Chiefs' defense has tightened up. But in KC... I think their defense is going to struggle this game. I think it's going to be high scoring. I can't wait for this game, and this is going to be super fun to watch. I'm going to go with the Cowboys here, the Chiefs here. I think it's going to be a really close game, but I like the Chiefs. They are hot right now. They're coming off their best game of the season. I'm going to go with the Chiefs here, guys, 34-31. Game of the week for sure. I mean, it's the Fox game of the week, so I think it is the game of the week. Okay, guys. This is our Sunday Night Football game. We have the 5-3-1 Steelers at the 5-4 Chargers. So the Steelers coming off an embarrassing tie to the Lions last week. I mean, come on, guys. Chargers, meanwhile, 5-4. They're struggling, as I've said. I just think they're really overrated. I've been saying that for a while. I think Herbert's really overrated. Coming off a loss to the Vikings. Again, the Vikings are a tough team. I get that, but they kind of smoked them. And then the Steelers. So, I've been a defender of the Steelers. I think people, they want to say, oh, they suck, they're terrible. And on paper, they're not good, and their offense sucks, no question. Roethlisberger's ass, their receivers are ass for the most part. Their line is ass. The bright spots on that offense are Najee Harris, and I guess Claypool's pretty good, and Johnson's okay, but hands are an issue, health is an issue. And of course, Juju's out for the year. So, but the Steelers defense, I'm telling you, man, it's still really, really good. I think it's the best in the league. It did There are consistency issues, but in general, I think it's really, really good. However, their best defender, TJ Watt, went down with an injury last week. It was a hip injury. It's not a significant injury, but it is minor, and he's out for, I think they said, a few weeks. So no TJ Watt tomorrow. That is a big, big loss. So without TJ Watt, who's going to step up? Because, of course, they traded Melvin Ingram. They don't have Bud Dupree anymore. So it's going to be Alex Highsmith, I think, who leads the charge. And can he get it done? I don't know. We'll see. Highsmith is decent. He's not great, and he's definitely no TJ Watt, but he's solid. And then Cameron Hayward's still there. Stephon Tuitt's still out. So the Steelers' defense is banged up, but I still think it still should play pretty well. Again, the Chargers are cold right now. They haven't been playing well. I don't know who to go with here. Both teams are struggling right now. I'm going to go... I think I'm going to go with the Chargers. I think the Steelers, without TJ Watt, I'm really skeptical about that defense. I think TJ Watt really leads the charge. And I don't know, man. Minka Fitzpatrick's good. I think he's pretty overrated, though. And he's having his worst year also. So I'm going to go with the Chargers here, guys. I think it's going to be low scoring. Let's go with the Chargers 20-16. That, again, another bold take, but I'm going to go with the Chargers and a low scoring 20-16 win. Okay, guys, our last game, and if you have stayed here the whole time, I really do appreciate it. Hadn't realized I'd gone this long. Okay, guys, last game, we have the 3-6 Giants and the 6-3 Bucks. So the Giants, they suck as usual. I shouldn't say as usual, but... they're terrible. They're just not good. Their defense is meh, and their offense is trash. Bucks, meanwhile, are in a skid right now. They lost to the Saints on the road, had a bye, and then they played worse to the football team last week. They got kind of smoked. They only lost by 10, but pretty much everyone could agree they got dominated. So Bucks are in a skid, but then again, they kind of did the same thing last year. They were, 7-5? I think their worst record, they were at 7-5 maybe. So they had a mid-season skid last year too, and then went on to win the Super Bowl. So it's not concerning. Tom Brady, of course, as the quarterback, he knows how to bounce back. So I'm not gonna worry. I'm not worried. I wouldn't be worried from a Bucs standpoint. I obviously hope the Bucs tank, but because I don't like them. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to happen. I think they'll get back on track and they'll get it together. This is the perfect opportunity for a bounce back win. The Giants kind of suck, and they do suck. It's in Tampa Bay. Bucs are going to be pissed after back-to-back losses. No really need to talk about this one. This shouldn't be close. I think the Bucs get a big bounce-back win. I'm going to go with the Bucs here, guys, 35-17. And, guys, that is going to do it for my game picks for Week 11 of the 2021 NFL season. Hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And I am out. Peace out. Have a great night. Thank you so much for watching. Go Ravens, and I will see you guys after the Ravens game tomorrow.